May 12 is a huge, consequential, and maybe even existential loss for President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at the halfway mark of his term. While the count for the Senate race is ongoing, the partial and unofficial tally shows only half of the 12 seats in the 2025 elections are going to bets of the Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas, Marcos's handpicked candidates who he campaigned and mobilized for, and who Marcos's cousin, Speaker Martin Romualdez, mobilized the Lakas CMD machinery for to ensure a dominant 2025 Alianza win. It's a crushing message to the Marcos administration, a reaction perhaps to his Bagong Pilipinas and to the open war between the Marcoses and the Dutertes after Marcos's allies in the House impeached Vice President Sara Duterte and after his administration arrested and then sent former President Rodrigo Duterte to The Hague. Marcos's trust and preference numbers went down by just a bit or dramatically, depending on which survey firm conducted the poll. What are the Senate results thus far? Well,
Duterte!
It's a former Duterte aide, re-electionist Senator Bongo, who is likely to top the 2025 race. Another Duterte aide, former Police Chief Ronald De La Rosa, architect of Duterte's drug war, is also poised not only to get a new term, but to finish the 2025 race possibly in the top 3. Rounding out the possible top-notchers of the 2025 elections is Bam Aquino, whose uncle Ninoy led the opposition to President Marcos's namesake and father, the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos. Aquino more recently is closer associated with the pink wave, or the popular wave of support for Marcos's rival in 2022, former Vice President Leni Robredo. In 2025, Aquino stayed away from the Marcos-Duterte feud and focused on courting support from local officials to influential churches. In the bubble of Ilocos Norte, May 12 is a landslide victory for the Marcos clan. At the provincial level, as it's been for over 3 decades, a Marcos sits as governor. The president's aunt, Cecilia Araneta Marcos, replaces her nephew, Matthew Marcos Manotoc, who in turn replaces Cecilia as vice governor. Kumbaga, they just switched places. In the capital of Lawag, the Marcos clan boots out an exiled member. Incumbent Mayor Michael Marcos Keon is replaced by Brian Alcid, a councilor and contractor endorsed by the president. Ilocos Norte Senate choices are a world away too. 10 of the president's endorsed candidates crack the top 12, which is led, of course, by re-electionist Senator Amy Marcos, the politically estranged sister to the president and former provincial governor, just like the president. Senator Marcos dropped out of the Alianza slate in protest of Duterte's arrest. She is ranked 12th in the partial and unofficial count, a feat considering she had not done too well in surveys. Her 2025 results are also a message to the president. The senator, in the waning weeks of the campaign, had been endorsed by and then campaigned with Vice President Sara Duterte.
Iboto si Senator Amy.
Now, where does this leave President Marcos? Well, the clan's grip on Ilocos Norte is assured for at least 3 more years and maybe many more years after that. But nationally, well, the Senate race was crucial for Marcos. He is at the halfway point of his term and is about to enter what's usually seen as a president's lame duck years. And all this is happening just as the Senate is about to hold the impeachment trial against political rival Sara Duterte. Does the administration have the numbers to deliver a conviction? A cursory scan implies he does not. Will they have the political will and leverage to shape that scenario themselves? And whether he wants to admit it or not, President Marcos will be keen on leaving behind his own legacy, one that is strangely connected to, but separate from, the first President Marcos, the late dictator, his father, who came before him. Rappler, Ilocos Norte.